DreAllDay.com.
What's up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. We are here with part 3 of what's going to be 6 parts, part 3 of 6. Where I'm going over the 31 major causes of failure as explained by Mr. Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich. Also, as I told you, one of my favorite books of all time. It's called The Law of Success, also written by Napoleon Hill. But he laid out these 31 major causes of failure in life, and these videos that I'm putting out here and these 31 causes of failure, you really need to make sure you are checking yourself against everything that I'm sharing here to make sure that none of these apply to you. Because if any of these are part of your makeup, your personality, your character, any of your habits, then these could lead you to fail in life. So make sure you're checking against everything that I'm saying here. So I'm going to name again 5 more of these causes of failure. I'll do 6 in the last video, and I'll give my interpretation of what these mean and how they could be affecting you in life. You need to check yourself and make sure they're not affecting you or anyone around you, because people around you have an influence on you. So let's get right into it. Number 1, and we're actually doing is technically number 11 through 15, but this is number 1 through 5 in this video. Number 1 is a lack of control of your sexual desires. This is a big one right here, and this is one that people don't really think about too much these days. But any of you, and this is something that, being a man, any of you males, I made a video a couple years ago that said how to get all the ass you want and still stay focused. Because let's be honest, men have sexual desires. I know women have sexual desires as well, but I'm not a woman, so I'm speaking from the perspective of a man. We have those desires that we want to fulfill, that we need to fulfill. Biologically, we need to fulfill those sexual desires, but at the same time, you have goals, you got ambitions, you got things you want to do, professionally, career-wise, academically, athletically, socially. So how do you satisfy all of that at the exact same time? You got to get control of it. I made the video to explain it, but if you don't control your sexual desires, it can get you in trouble. And I think y'all have seen that. Y'all have seen men get in legal situations over situations with women where a woman said one thing, he said, she said situation where a man, you might mess with the wrong chick and get yourself caught up in some situation you don't want to be in. You could get some kind of ill health that you don't want, messing with the wrong chick the wrong way, or making dumb decisions when you're messing with the wrong chick, or dumb not decisions when you're messing with the wrong chick, if you know what I'm saying. You could end up with a pregnancy, an unwanted, unplanned pregnancy that could derail your whole situation. So not controlling your sexual desires, not controlling your sexual desires is one of the main things that befalls men who otherwise have promising futures, promising prospects in front of them, not being able to control themselves, chasing around the ass, but instead of chasing the goals and the ambitions and the dreams, they chasing the females. So make sure you're not getting caught up in that, on or offline. All right, Napoleon Hill didn't know about the internet, but I know about it. Next, point number 2. We're going over 31 major causes of failure. This is 5 more of these. This is your desire or propensity to try to get something for nothing. Trying to get something for nothing is a major cause of failure. In other words, people want to get a return on an investment that they never made. I have athletes who will come to me and say, Dre, well, I've been working on my game for 3 months or 6 months or 2 years, but I'm not as good as I want to be yet, or I'm not on the team yet, or I don't make most of my shots when I get in the game. What's the problem? What do I need to do? What's wrong with me? Listen, you got to make more of an investment than that. First of all, you got to put the time in to get a certain result. And second of all, you got to put the time in doing the right things to get a result. Just because you're putting time in doesn't mean you're putting the right time in. And just because you're working out every day doesn't mean you know what you're doing. So you might need to go find somebody who knows what they're doing, who can give you the right advice and guidance. You might need to invest in yourself, meaning there are 5 forms of investment. And I talked about this on my podcast, episode 609. 5 forms of investment are time, money, attention, energy, focus. If you want to be successful in anything, you must invest all 5. You want to be good at ball, you got to put time in, you got to put money in, you got to pay attention, you got to put energy in, and you got to be focused. You need all of them, not just one of them, not just the one that's convenient for you. You got to put all the investments in if you want to get a return on an investment. And people's propensity or their habits to try to get something without putting some work in from the beginning is, even if you end up getting something that you really didn't give anything for, you kind of stole it away from the universe will always get its payback. The universe always balances its books. Let's just keep it that way. So if you steal from the universe, it will get back from you, and it'll probably get back from you more than what you took from it in the first place. So you're better off paying full price from the beginning. So that second one is your propensity to try to get something for nothing. Number 3, causes of failure. A lack of power of decision, inability to make decisions. You just can't, you got options in front of you. You got all these different things you could do, whether that's what you're going to eat for dinner, whether it's where you're going to go to school, whether you're going to date this girl, you're going to date that girl, whether you're going to work on your game tomorrow or not because you feel tired and you don't know what to do next. Your inability to make decisions leads to procrastination because you're thinking about what to do. You're weighing all your options. You're hemming and you're hawing. You're taking too long to come to a decision. And while you're taking all that time to make a decision, somebody who has the power of decision, decisiveness, they're taking the opportunity off the table that would have been yours had you been able to make a decision quicker and actually move on that decision. And understand something that I'm putting in here myself is that it's not a decision unless you take action on it. A real decision does not have a plan B, and a real decision is followed up by action. It doesn't really become a decision until you've actually done something with it. Just saying that you decided doesn't mean anything. It's when your actions follow what you say, that's when it's a decision. If your actions don't follow it, then it's just you talking. It's just conversation. And we all know that words are cheap. We know talk is cheap. Words are a dime a dozen. We don't put too much value in what people say. We judge people on what they do, right? So until you do something, it's not a real decision. If you can't make a decision, then you can't do anything. So make decisions quickly. If you happens to be the wrong decision, then change your mind, do something different. But notice what I'm saying here. Do something. Not talk about something, not think about something, not write something down, not look up YouTube videos on something, but actually do something. So lack of power of decision is a cause of failure. Next is having or being controlled by one of the 6 basic fears in life. And Napoleon Hill lays this out in his book, Think and Grow Rich, the 6 basic fears. Let me see if I can remember all 6. There's the fear of poverty. And he wrote this book, Think and Grow Rich, at the height of the Great Depression back in the late 1920s into the early 1930s, when nobody had money and everybody was afraid of going broke. And that's exactly what was happening. People were going broke, killing themselves because they were going broke. It was, if y'all remember the recession in 2008-ish, it was 10 times worse than that. So imagine how bad people had it then. It was worse than that back then, 1929. So the fear of poverty, not having money. Second was the fear of criticism, which I think is the #1 fear these days because we got social media and everybody can evaluate everybody. Like, there are people who I will never meet in life who will watch this video or look at your Instagram or look at something that you put out in the world or something that you didn't put out but somebody else put out about you, and they get to judge you and talk about you and criticize you, ridicule you, or whatever, say whatever they want to say, and you just got to take it if you decide to pay attention to it. A lot of people are afraid of that criticism. Third is the fear of ill health, the fear of having a disease, or the fear of breaking your leg. Athlete, every time a major pro athlete gets injured, I get a bunch of athletes coming to me saying, well, how can I avoid getting injured? Because they saw Derrick Rose got hurt or LeBron got hurt. How can I avoid getting injured? You can't avoid getting injured. You want to avoid getting injured, don't play a sport. That's the only way you can avoid it. And you can still get injured, crossing the street, you can get injured. You get injured getting hit by a car. And I'm sure you didn't try to, but it's just something that can happen in life. It's just part of the game that you're in. So fear of ill health is another one of those basic fears. Next one is fear of a loss of love. Being afraid that the people who are around you, whether those are your friends, your family, your followers on social media, your significant other, your kids, your parents, may for whatever reason not love you anymore. You have a falling out with them. That's one way you can lose the love. Another way is that they could just not be there anymore. Maybe one of them dies, one of them passes away, one of them gets cancer, one of them gets injured, one of them transfers, goes to a different school or a different state, one of your friends or your girlfriend or something like that. Your fear of losing that love is a basic fear that could cause you to fail in life in general, because fear, all it does is magnify whatever you're afraid of, and it brings more things to be afraid of to you, brings it into your orbit. All fear does is make things worse. Or it makes whatever you're afraid of bigger than it is, and it makes things worse for you. That's another basic fear. The fifth basic fear is a fear of old age. Fear of people just don't want to get older. They don't want to lose their vitality, don't want to not be young anymore. You don't want to have people come up. Some of you are 15, 16, 17, 21 years old right now, and you look at somebody who's like 35 or 40, you're like, damn, that person's old. You might even joke about them, but you fear maybe one day, well, actually not, hopefully not maybe, but definitely one day you're that person who's 40 years old or 50 or 35, and now there's gonna be some 15-year-old kid saying the same thing to you. So that fear of old age, I don't know too much about how that manifests itself. I haven't thought about it too much, but Napoleon Hill talks about it in his book, Think and Grow Rich. So go get that book if you haven't already and read it. And if you don't remember what he said, like I'm not remembering what he said, go read the book again. And the sixth of the 6 basic fears is the fear of death. When you're afraid of death, then it pretty much permeates through every other area of your life. You're afraid of, because death is a termination of something, right? So that means you're going to be afraid of leaving a job. You're going to be afraid of ending a relationship. You'll be afraid of ending a conversation in a small way. You'll be afraid of walking away from a situation that you don't even like. You'll be afraid of any small termination, because what is really manifesting itself as is your fear of the big termination, because life is the ending of everything. So that means you will be afraid to end anything, because it's showing itself in these little micro ways, that big fear in the small ways. That's what happens whenever we have fear of a big thing. It shows itself in these little tiny ways that we barely even notice. But when you have somebody, you know, like myself, who is able to point it out to you, maybe you can start noticing it more, and maybe a therapist or something like that can point it out. A good reference for this will be Robert Greene's book, The 50th Law, that he wrote with rapper 50 Cent, who everybody knows damn near died before his rap career even took off. And one of the things the main thing 50 stresses throughout the book, The 50th Law, if you have not read it, read it, is that after his brush with death, when he almost died, he stopped being afraid of things. He wasn't afraid of anything anymore, because that was, what else could you be afraid of? You almost died and you survived that. How can you be afraid of somebody, you know, talking shit about you on social media, or afraid of a business deal that goes wrong, or afraid of putting an album out and nobody buys it? How could that even affect you when you had a gun pointed at your face and the person squeezed it and you didn't die? If you survived that, is nothing when somebody's talking trash to you, or you get in an altercation, or you're arguing with somebody. Is nothing. So those are the 6 basic fears. So we got, those are the 1, 2, 3, 4 things, and the last one, I'm gonna try to remember what the last one is. So while I try to remember what the last one is, let me go over again the 5 major causes of failure, the 4 of the 5 major causes of failure I'm pointing out in this video. Number 1 is a lack of control over your sexual desires. You cannot control your desire for sex in some way, shape, or form, and it derails your life. And I know many of you probably know some examples of people, male and female, who this hurt in many ways. Number 2, trying to get something for nothing. You have not put the work in, you have not made the investment, but you want to get a return. You want to get something, but you haven't put the work in, you haven't put the time in, you haven't put the money in, you haven't put the energy in, you haven't given your attention and focus to something, but you want a result from it. That's going to cause you to fail in life. 3rd is a lack of a power of decision. You cannot make decisions quickly. You're indecisive. You don't move when you see an opportunity. That indecision, somebody else is going to take opportunity off the table, and opportunity will just walk away from you and go to somebody who's ready to make a decision about it. And that the 6 basic fears is the 4th one. Any of the 6 basic fears was the fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death is the 6th of the 6 basic fears. And the 5th major cause of failure in this video that I'm pointing out is wrong choice of a mate in relationships. Now, this is a deep one right here. And for those, I mean, everybody, I mean, you could be any age. You could be 40 and single, you could be 15 and a virgin, you know, anywhere in between, or older or younger. If you choose the wrong mate in life, the wrong partner, and he's talking, Napoleon Hill specifically talking about marriage and someone you stay with for life, but we can expand this out to any kind of relationship. And whether that's a friend, whether it's a business partner, if it's a casual friend where you're just dating that individual. It's not a relationship, but you're dating and you're seeing each other on a regular basis. Any person that you're around on a consistent basis, whatever energies they have around them, whatever they're doing, will rub off on you and have some influence on you in some way. As the saying goes, you become the average of the people you spend the most time with. It could be 5 people, 3 people, or 30 people. That person does have some effect on you in some way, shape, or form. If you choose the wrong partners, the wrong people to hang around, the wrong people to be influenced by, the wrong people to have in your favorites and your contacts, the wrong people to have a Snapchat streak. I don't know if people even still do that anymore, but you choose the wrong partner, that can hurt you in the long run. Because like I just said, law of association, you become the people you associate with the most. So if it's a girl that you're just seeing, somebody you see once a week, somebody you hang out with every day, somebody you're talking to on social media every hour, that person is influencing you. And if that person's a loser and that person's a failure, you're getting closer and closer to being a loser and a failure yourself, no matter how successful you are right now. Associations will destroy you if you choose the wrong ones. So yes, this is marriage, relationships, intimate relationships, friendships, business, sports, anything. So make sure you're choosing the right mates, and like, choose the wrong mate, that can cost you a lot in the long run. So let's recap. As I said, I already recapped the other 4. So we got the lack of control of sexual desire, trying to get something for nothing. 3rd one is indecision, inability to make decisions. 4th is your fear, or not your fear, but having one of the 6 basic fears in life, which are already laid out: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. And the fifth one is choosing the wrong mate, choosing the wrong partner, choosing the wrong friends, choosing the wrong associations will hurt you. That could probably be the number one out of everything that we did in this video right here. So again, this is the third of 6 videos I'm doing, 31 major causes of failure. Check yourself for everything that I have talked about here in this video. Check the people around you for everything I've said in this video, because if they have one of these major causes of failure, that means that your ass is about to have one of these major causes of failure. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. My book, Work on Your Game, Using the Pro Athlete Mindset to Dominate in Business, Sports, and Life, is available now where all books are sold, physical, digital, and of course the audio book, 100% done by me. If you have learned from these philosophies, the mental game, business, sports, life, anything you do, this is the book for you. Go get it now and work on your game. Dre all day.